We used to think the woods would always let us back out. We were wrong. Montana, late 90s, before phones in pockets, before anyone could find you unless they yelled your name across the fields. Our cul-de-sac back against a half-mile of lodgepole pines, thick enough to drink the light, thin enough to dare each other through. On the far side, another new subdivision was sprouting, same beige siding, same bikes left in driveways. Between them, the shortcut, our secret border. I'm telling this as a man now, but back then my name was just Graham and my world was 4 other kids, Jesse, Cole, Nate, and Eli. We were 12, maybe 13. The age when dusk doesn't feel like night yet, just more permission. The woods were ours. We cut a trail through deadfall and needles, gave every bend a name, the split, the tooth tree, the fence. It smelled like sap and iron and something that didn't want to be named. One night my mom came looking for us. She stepped just 20 yards in, stopped, and called my name once. Her voice didn't carry right. It came back wrong, thinner. She went pale. "I don't like it in here," she said. "It feels like someone's already watching." She turned around and walked out fast, like she didn't trust the ground beneath her feet. We laughed, of course. Parents said things like that. But after she left, for just a second, we all realized how quiet it had gone. We first used the woods as a shortcut, a 9-minute run instead of 20 on bikes. Then, summer taught us what darkness can do to a place. The same trail that looked like a tunnel of green became something else when the sun fell. The pines leaned closer, the air got thick. So, as kids do, we invented a game. Run line. The rules were simple. We'd line up at the far tree line, spaced apart 50, maybe 100 feet. No flashlights, no shortcuts. First one to hit the old fence on the far side of the woods would win. It took about 9 minutes if you didn't panic. Jesse always had the start signal, a big dented metal train whistle from his dad's old job, his initials JD scratched on the side. When he blew it, the sound went clean through you. We played that game all summer, 1,000 times probably. We knew the turns by feel. We knew where to duck. We thought the woods knew us too. The night we lost him wasn't special. Early September, the air sharp, crickets loud, porch lights flicking behind us. We met by the edge of the cedar at the periphery of my yard, parents inside watching the 10 o'clock news. Jesse spun the whistle by its cord. "Last one through owes me a Mountain Dew," he joked. We took our places. The moon hung low, more suggestion than light. Jesse raised the whistle, smirked once, and blew it. The sound cut everything in half. I ran. Branches slapped my arms. The dirt was thick with pine needles. I could hear the others, their breathing, the crunch of shoes, the nervous laughs that died fast. The trail bent where it shouldn't have. The tooth tree looked further away than it ever had. Then 2 short blasts of the whistle. From the wrong direction. "Jesse?" I called. No answer. Behind me, something heavy shifted. Could have been an animal. It could have been a dream. The trees seemed closer together. The dark felt like it had weight. When I broke through the far edge, I wasn't the first. Cole was doubled over, hands on his knees. Nate right after, gasping, laughing too hard. Then Eli stumbled out. We counted. 1, 2, 3, 4, and waited for 5. But he never came out. We yelled. We swore he was hiding. We went back in. The woods swallowed our flashlights whole. We called his name until it didn't sound like a name anymore. We found nothing. By dawn, there were deputies, dogs, even a helicopter showed up. The air reeked of exhaust and rain. They found one of his shoelaces, frayed, near the tooth tree. No prints, no blood, just a deep impression in the dirt, like something heavy had lain there a long time. They searched for weeks. No Jesse, no sign of struggle. The file stayed open, then got thinner. The rest of us never ran the line again. Within a year, developers cut down half the woods, built a park, and named it something cheerful. Trees didn't care. They just grew quieter. 30 years later, we met again. Not officially, just four middle-aged men circling a memory they couldn't bury. The park had a new playground, bright plastic where our childhood had ended. Cole had a soft gut and louder voice. Nate wore the jaw of a man who grinds his teeth. Eli had a shoulder that still clicked when it rained from a construction injury. And me, Graham, just a guy holding on to many unspoken things. We talked about old teachers, old crushes, anything that wasn't that night. Then someone's shadow broke into the circle. A man stood there, thin, pale, faded flannel, hair gone gray in streaks. He looked like a photo left in the sun for too long. The scar through his eyebrow caught the light, and when he smiled, small, uncertain, my stomach turned cold. "Hey," he said, "it's Jesse." For a long second, no one moved. Then Cole whispered, "That's impossible." Nate muttered, "Jesus Christ," like it was both a prayer and a warning. Jesse sat down with us, hands steady, eyes everywhere but on us. His skin looked thin, almost translucent at the temples, like he'd been under bad light for too long. "Where have you been?" I asked. He rubbed his wrist absently, left a small red mark there. "I don't remember much," he said. "I was running, then I stopped. Doctor said it's better that way. Some memories aren't worth finding." He smiled again, but it didn't reach his eyes. "They told me to live forward." He kept glancing past us, toward the tree line beyond the playground, what little remained of the woods. His expression would blank out for half a second, like he was listening to something none of us could hear. Cole tried to make it normal. "Man, we looked for you for weeks. We thought—" Jesse cut him off softly. "You left?" He didn't shout it, just said it like a weather report, then added, "You all did." Something in his tone made my chest tighten. It wasn't anger, it was something colder, deeper. Like he wasn't accusing us so much as informing us. Like he'd already had that conversation somewhere else with someone or something who wasn't human. After a silence long enough to make the air feel heavy, he chuckled. "But I get it. Everyone leaves eventually." He looked at me just for a second. "Some of us just don't get to choose when we come back." He talked a bit more about getting help, about rebuilding, but every word sounded rehearsed, like he was reading lines someone else had prepared for him. At one point, when Nate offered him another beer, Jesse's hand lingered on Nate's wrist just a little too long. The touch wasn't rough, but it made the hairs on my neck stand up. When he finally let go, his fingers were trembling. Eli said quietly, "Hey, it's good you're here, man." Jesse's smile twitched. "Is it?" Then, almost to himself, "Sometimes I think the woods gave me back wrong." None of us laughed. As the sun sank, the park lights blinked on. He stood, brushed invisible dust from his jeans. "I should go. There's too much past in the air." He turned towards the trees and then stopped and looked over his shoulder. "You should all stop looking for where I was," he said. "If you keep digging long enough, you'll find what stayed behind." Then he walked away, fading into the line of shadow where the trees began. We watched until he was gone. No one said a word. Later, after too many beers, we did what men do when they want to prove they're not afraid. We went back and decided to walk the woods again. Jesse didn't come back. He didn't need to. We entered the trail. The city light faded fast. The air felt thick again, familiar. We passed the split. The tooth tree was just a stump now, but the earth around it was darker, almost soft. 15 minutes later, we reached the fence on the other side. "Guess we made it," Nate muttered. That's when Eli saw it. A metal train whistle, dented, tarnished, JD scratched faintly into the side. The wind shifted through the trees, and for a heartbeat, I swear I heard it. One long, low note, like air remembering the shape of sound. None of us touched it. We turned and walked out without speaking, heads down, every step slower than the last. People ask what happened in those woods, and I tell them what I can. We ran the line 1,000 times, and once we didn't. 30 years later, the boy we lost came back wearing a man's face and looking at us like he was measuring the distance between where we stood and where he'd been. He said the doctors told him to live forward. But when he said it, he was smiling. And I don't think he was talking about himself. We used to think the woods would always let us back out. We were wrong.